Now, recently we found out that Roger Ailes has been sexually harassing some of the people that he works with. Now, that is the allegations, according to Gretchen Carlson, in a lawsuit that she filed. Her allegations appear to be credible. We went over them last week with you guys. At that point, I said, this will be the tip of the iceberg. We will have a Bill Cosby-like situation here. This is a guy who believes in the old school way of doing things for good and definitely for bad. And if he did this once, likely he did it many, many times. Immediately thereafter, we heard that 12 new women had gone to Gretchen Carlson's lawyers and talked to them about things that Roger Ailes might have also done to them. Now remember, Roger Ailes, not only the guy who runs Fox News Channel right now, but also used to run press for George H.W. Bush and was a communications advisor for Richard Nixon. Now, there's a new story out from New York Magazine from Gabriel Sherman. And Gabriel Sherman had written a book about Roger Ailes in the past that also touched on this issue, that had 4 other women. Now there's a new story with 6 new women. I told you. Tip of the iceberg. This guy has been preying on women for decades, just like Bill Cosby. So now Bill Cosby's MO was he drugs them and then he sexually assaults them. For Roger Ailes, his MO is, oh, you want a job? Oh, great. Here, I'll give you a lot of hope. You come into my office, and then, according to the allegations, I will sexually harass you, sexually assault you. I don't really care what age you are. You'll see that in a second. And if you don't go along with my sexual advances, I will ruin your career. Vindictive, vengeful. Now, that's not me saying it. That are these accounts. 2 of them are on the record, which is very bold. The last one I'm going to spend a lot of time on because it is an amazing story. It's not just about Roger Ailes or Fox News Channel. It's not just about their gross, gross hypocrisy on family values and all the things that they never actually stood for on the right wing. It's a larger story about what women had to go through in the past and what they sometimes still have to go through that you need to understand, because if you've never been in that perspective, you might not know that this ever happens. But it does happen to some people, and there are creeps like Roger Ailes who do it and apparently have been doing it for a long, long time. So, first, Gabriel Sherman explains that he says, taken together, these stories portray Ailes as a boss who spoke openly of expecting women to perform sexual favors in exchange for job opportunities. Now, this is sexual harassment 101. You sleep with me, you can get the job. If you don't sleep with me, you don't get the job. It doesn't get any clearer than this, again, based on these allegations. Okay. Now, you go to the specific women. 4 of them have been giving pseudonyms because they said, number one, I'm still worried he's going to retaliate. And a lot of these women are right-wing themselves, as you'll see. A lot of them are Republicans, and they don't want one of the most powerful people in the Republican Party, if not the most powerful person, because he's the person handling their propaganda operation, the one who controls the message, to be mad at them and to strike back at them, because he apparently does that on a regular basis. So Sarah explains, she's a former model, and this is stories that range all the way back to the 1960s when he was working on the Michael Douglas show, and then before he joined the Nixon campaign, and then beyond that as well. The last one you'll see is right after the George H.W. Bush campaign, and that's all pre-Gretchen Carlson, and then there are the Fox News days. So Sarah was from a while ago. She was 16 years old at the time. She explains that he brought her into the office and said, now you got to audition for me. This is for the Michael Douglas show. And then, quote, he proceeded to pull down his pants and very gingerly pull out his genitals and said, kiss them. And they were red like raw hamburger. Sarah explains, quote, I was a kid. I'd never seen a man's privates before. And she said, he said to me, don't tell anybody about this. I've got it all on tape. I think he knew I was 16. Okay. Now, his defenders will say, oh, of course, everything is false. That's to be expected. That's exactly what Bill Cosby said. The second thing they'll say is, oh, that's from so long ago. So back then, sexually assaulting 16-year-old girls was what? Kosher? Saying that they need to do that in order for them to get a job, that was A-okay back then? Is that the argument that they're going to make? Now, you can say all of these women, you don't believe any of them. Okay, that's a curious position to take. I want you to understand something. In the beginning, I was rooting for Bill Cosby. I wasn't in the camp against him. Even with all the pull your pants stuff up, I largely was on his side. But what I saw was a ton of facts. Then I said, okay, I'm not on his side anymore because the guy's a monster. I'm asking you to keep an open mind. If you really are a Republican, if you really are a conservative, and you really believed any of the stuff that you talked about, family values, respect, morality, etc., you think that all these women through all these years making up all lies that are all incredibly similar? I asked you that question. Okay, so in this case, what he had done is after he took off his pants, he apparently literally chased her around the room trying to sexually assault her. But she was younger and she ran from him. She did not give in. And at the end, he got frustrated and flustered, according to her account, and pulled up his pants and said, oh, but I got you on tape. And then think about that for a second. Okay, she's 16, she's underage, all that stuff. On top, there were tapes at some point. Remember, this guy worked with Nixon. My God, what if the tapes still exist? Carlson's lawyers should immediately find a way to get that to a point where it should be entered into evidence, and if he destroys it, that it would be a serious criminal problem. Because one of the reasons he's going to keep the tapes is because he's a pervert. He wants to watch it again. He doesn't want to watch that embarrassing episode, but remember, some of the women accepted these proposals. In fact, there's one account in this story as well of that. He kept, I would be shocked if he didn't keep some of the tapes. Certainly for a long period of time. Does he still have the tapes from the 1960s? I have no idea, but worth exploring. That is certainly for sure. Okay, right now, he's so busy burning tapes. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how the legal proceedings play out. Jane, another former model and actress, says that she had actually accepted and she felt sick about it. And so she said, through the years, I felt like a horrible person because I allowed this to happen to me. And I didn't just say fuck off and walk out of the room. My husband doesn't even know. That's part of the reason she's not giving her full name. Now, but you have to understand something about Jane. She didn't do it for the job. She never took the job. Because these predators, what they do is they catch people off guard. She's not expecting it. And all of a sudden, these sexual advances come. And all of a sudden, your career's on the line. He says, I'll blackball you if you don't do this. And having not any idea what's going on, and a lot of victims report similar things, not about Roger Ailes, but overall in these types of cases. So I've seen that fact pattern many times before. And somehow, before you know it, it's over. And she's like, Jesus, what happened? And then she walks out and she feels great shame, like it was her fault. But Jane, it wasn't your fault. It was his fault. That was a trap that he was laying for you, and you were young and you had no idea that it was going to come. You didn't do it for the job. You didn't even take the job. But that's among the many sins that predators like this do. They make you feel guilty for their own sexual assault. Oh, it's sickening. All right, more. Diane, now a media consultant, says that this is what he told her back then. Well, you know, no girls get a job here unless they're cooperative. I just pushed him away and ran out of there. He was like, whatever, so no job for me. He did hire several of the girls from the group, but I don't know what they had to do to get the job. Oh, that's another stomach-churning moment. Because she explained that there was a whole line of women who were there to audition for a job on TV, in this case, the Mike Douglas show. And Bill Cosby would do something very similar. You're here to audition, either for shows he had earlier or for the Bill Cosby show. Now, part of this audition, here, drink this. And in this case, nobody's getting drugged, but there's tremendous coercion, clear sexual harassment, if these allegations are to be believed, sexual assault, etc. And so with that long line, she's like, I didn't do it, but who did? Then you think of all the people who are on Fox News now. Who took the offer? Look, I don't like the people on Fox News, but no one should have to go through this. And I feel sick when I think about if anyone accepted his offer. And he has a very clear MO in all of these, especially in the old days. He would make them wear things that turned them on. Back then, stockings, garter belt. He would say, okay, this is part of your audition. He would lift up their skirts and have them parade around. And he would walk them into it slowly. Oh, you're going to get a job. It's going to be great. Oh, you're really talented. Now put on this outfit because it's part of the job in the audition. Now let me see the full outfit. Now let me do this. Now let me do that. And next thing you know, like Jane, she's like, this happened before I even quite knew what was happening, and then I regretted it tremendously. And And so it's a fact pattern. So now Pat, another former TV producer, says he told her, if you want to make it in New York City in the TV business, you're going to have to fuck me, and you're going to do that with anyone I tell you to. So now this is another layer to it, where he says, you're not just going to have to sleep with me, but you're going to have to sleep with some of my friends. That's another part of the fact pattern. Now, who are the other friends? Oh boy. And how many of them know about this? This thing gets deeper and deeper. So this is an unbelievable mess. Is this something that was standard practice? Well, not just for the sake of Roger Ailes and finding out all the things that he actually did, but for the sake of all the women who were abused in this way. We owe it to society to find out more about what was prevalent business practice at the time. And by the way, I don't know. I didn't live then, right? I wasn't around at that time. I certainly wasn't a business executive. Was this so standard practice? And if so, we should reveal that so that we know the dark practices that used to happen in this country, so that we can have the truth at hand. If it wasn't, and there were some predators like Roger Ailes who were especially gross, and this seems to us unbelievably gross, well, we should find out about that too, for the sake of justice. Okay, Pat goes on to say, I remember running out of that apartment like my hair was on fire and standing on the sidewalk crying, thinking, what's that guy think I was, a prostitute? In 1 second, my dreams were shot. He's going to blackball me everywhere. And now I'm going to read you a long account, but I want you to think about that too. Because it wasn't just the sexual harassment and the sexual assault and the underage girls, and I'm going to pass you around to my friends. But at the end, if you didn't cooperate, he was going to end your career. You came in full of hope that you thought you were going to get a break. But it was a trap by a predator who said, either you're going to do the sexual favors that I want. Otherwise, today's not the day your career begins. It's the day it ends. Now, Kelly Boyle. She had the courage to come out and say, Kelly Boyle is my name, and I'm not going to do this anonymously. She's a former Republican National Committee field advisor. She's a Republican. She's a conservative. She has no reason to make this up. She has no reason to come out publicly because she will be viciously attacked by the right wing. But she did it anyway because she wanted to tell this story. Now, I'm going to tell it in its entirety as New York Magazine said it because it's a story you should know. So let me read you the quotes. She says, this was back in 1989. I was 29 and living in New Jersey. My husband worked at CNBC, and he said, Roger Ailes is coming in to be interviewed. Would you like to meet him? I said, yes. I'd worked in political communications with the Republican National Committee, so Roger Ailes was like a god. I'd read his book, You Are the Message, and I use it for a lot of training I did for candidates. I introduced myself in the green room, and he was very charming and said, would you like to visit my office downtown sometime? A week or two later, I went in and mentioned to him that I was going down to D.C. the following week to sign a major contract with the National Republican Congressional Committee. He said, oh, I'm going to D.C. too. Would you like to have dinner before you go in? So we had a nice dinner at a restaurant in Union Station. There was nothing untoward about it at all. He had a driver and a car, and after dinner he said, can I take you to your friends? So we get in the car, and that's when he said, you know, if you want to play with the big boys, you have to lay with the big boys. Okay, let's pause there for a second. Same fact pattern. Come here, I've got a great opportunity for you. I'm on your side. You're a Republican. I'm a Republican demigod at this point. I already worked for Nixon, George H.W. Bush. I want to help you with your career. I'm so friendly. Let's go to a friendly dinner. Oh, I'll do you another favor. And now he springs the trap on you. And it's unbelievable. Every time I read one of these stories, I'm like, really? Really? Somebody does that? And he did it over and over again. Part of the reason he does it over and over again is because he got away with it. For all these years, he's been getting away with it. And now he's in the media business. This is when he's going to CNBC and getting interviewed there. And soon thereafter, he'll wind up with the Fox News job running Fox News Channel. So Kelly Boyle continues. I was so taken aback. I said, gosh, I didn't know that. How would that work? I was trying to kill time because I didn't know if he was going to attack me. I was just talking until I could get out of the car. He said, quote, that's the way it works. And he started naming other women he'd had. He said, that's how all these men in media and politics work. Everyone's got their friend. I said, would I have to be friends with anybody else? And he said, well, you might have to give a blowjob every once in a while. This is what he's telling this woman in order to be able to get a position she wants in politics or in media. He said, Kelly Boyle goes on to say, I told him I was going to have to think about this. He said, no, if you don't do it now, you know that means you won't. The next morning, I show up to get my assignment and was told the guy I was supposed to be meeting with was unavailable. Back in New Jersey, I got a call from Roger Ailes. He said, how'd your meeting go? I said, actually, he wasn't available, and I'm hoping to hear back from him. He said, well, I'm sure you will. Have you changed your mind yet? I said, I'll have to pass, Roger. I'm married and really committed to my husband. No offense. He said, well, we'll be in touch. And that was that. A couple of weeks later, I called a friend who was very high up in the RNC, and I asked him what had happened. He said, quote, word went out, you weren't to be hired. This is the anatomy of a terrible person. She already had that offer and opportunity. He interceded to try to get sex out of it, and she said no, and he killed her job opportunity. He's willing to kill their careers if they won't give in to his sexual advances. If these are proven out in court, and again, why would all these women through all these years lie? This could be studied as the textbook definition of sexual harassment. This isn't around the edges. This is the core of sexual harassment. Oftentimes in his case, if the allegations are true, sexual assault. This guy is a monster. We already knew his politics. We already knew what he thought about all these different groups in America. We already knew what he thought about women because, according to Fox News insiders, he didn't allow them to wear pants on air. They had to wear skirts, and they took the tables away so that men could always look at their legs. And he thought, I don't need to hear from them. I need to see them, and they need to meet his requirements for attractiveness. According to Gretchen Carlson's lawsuit, his standard was, for a man, could I go to beer with him, have a beer with him, and like him? For a woman, his standard is, would I fuck them? And in his case, that turns out to be literal. This is one of the sickest guys in the country, and he runs the media operation for one of our major parties, and then has the temerity to call it news.